Hey, Bars Gang, welcome back to another episode of Dropping Bars. And today with me, I have Kyana Bubb, air traffic controller, children's book author, and I am very excited for her to share with us today. So, Kyana, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here today.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. And now, Kyana, tell me, who is Kyana Bubb? I mean, I know you're an air traffic controller. You're a children's book author. But give me outside of that, who really is Kyana Bubb?
Well, Kyana Bubb, that's me, of course. 24-year-old air traffic controller at the Maurice Bishop International Airport and self-published children's book author. Just on that, self-published.
Impressive.
A past student of the St. George's Anglican Junior and Senior School and the St. Joseph's Convent St. George. I grew up liking planes, aviation on a whole, sports, a lot of sports. I used to do track and field for St. Joseph's Convent. I played football for St. Joseph's Convent. I don't look like that sporty type, but I'm there.
Very nice.
And a dancer of first the Spiceland Dancers Dance Company and now the Consumption Dance Theatre with Miss Cecilia Griffith. So, and I also used to play a bit of piano. So I know the music. I can read music. I can write music. And I'm player of the Republic Bank Angel Hub. So multi-talented, wow. I would say.
Wow. Multi-talented, multifaceted, like well-rounded. I'm impressed. Yeah. So tell me, I know that you said that growing up you liked planes and aviation and so and now you're an air traffic controller. So I would imagine that you somewhere along the line you always thought that you would get into that space, but did you think it was going to be in as an air traffic controller, or did you maybe start thinking, okay, maybe I want to do something else, or whether it's working on the planes themselves, or maybe want to do a pilot or whatever? Was it just a situation of you always knew that you wanted to be an air traffic controller, or you just love the industry and you decide, you know what, I'm going to just get into that industry, into that space?
It's the latter. Aviation on a whole is a beautiful thing because when you think about it, you must somehow touch every part of it in order to be in it. But probably flight attendant was the first thing. As a young girl traveling, that's who you would see first.
Right.
So, yeah, and pilot did brush in mind, but, we have some parents that be like, no, you don't want to fly plane because you're not going to say the rest.
I know.
Sorry, mommy.
I know.
But, yeah, and there's that. Meteorologist did cross my mind at a point in time. Aeronautical engineer did cross my mind at a point in time until I got to TAMCC and I saw calculus. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just put a pause on that. Later on in life, I might be ready for that. But
yeah.
And air traffic controller was there, especially from secondary schools with my textbooks. I've seen control towers featuring like the IT textbook and some other school books. So, that just seeing those pictures and so just grabbed my attention and it's like, okay, this looks cool. It is aviation. Planes are there. So like, and I didn't really know anybody at all in my circle, my family space, my village that, into aviation. So it was just like a whole new world for me, but it wasn't a new world for me.
Oh, nice. So what do you do as an air traffic controller?
So it's not me standing on the ramp with two glow sticks calling in an aircraft. I'll just get that out there first. That's not it. We work in a tower cab that's in the control tower at Maurice Bishop International. It's to the right of the terminal building on top of the hill. Uh, we not only tell flights clear to land, clear for takeoff, we are basically their driving instructors. If you put it that way, because you would be in driving class and the instructor tell you, okay, make a left onto Montu, all those
Mm,
thingy.
right.
So we basically give the pilot direction because they cannot go onto the taxiway by themselves without them knowing if someone just took off or someone is coming in for landing. So we have control of all of that. And when they're in the sky, we also have control of that as well because we have to tell them where to go, which route to take, which levels, because aircraft are separated by 1,000 feet in the sky, and one direction has even numbers, the next direction has odd numbers. I apologize, but I can't remember the exact thing right now, but I know that's the
Right.
way it
Yeah.
is. When I'm on work, it's
Hmm.
there.
I know.
So right. So that there's that, and we have to separate them based on degrees for lateral separation. We have longitudinal, vertical separation.
Hmm.
It's the math that you did not expect to do because you probably sat in math class asking like, where am I going to use Pythagoras theorem all day every day for me?
Oh yeah. So,
All day every
so
day,
if you want to know where,
all day every
you
day,
gotta be an air traffic controller. So you,
all day.
so all the time. So I'm always traveling, right? I'm always
Yeah,
traveling to and from Grenada. So you're the one who's ensuring that I arrive safe.
that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Perfect.
That's right.
Well, let me just say
Because there are
thank
times
you.
that we would see. Thank you so much. There are times that we would see things that the pilots won't know just yet, and we would
Hmm.
inform them. And that's like, an extra amount of safety for passengers and the crew. So, yes, you have to thank your pilots as well because they're the ones actually flying the plane.
Plane. Right.
But we're like their guardians of
Yes.
the sky because it's like without them, we won't have a job. And without us, they would not know where to go. So,
So you're like
yeah,
the
that's the
guardians
life
of the
of.
galaxy.
Right. Right. Yeah, so that's kind of like what it is in air traffic control for us. Well, me in Grenada, and it's a really nice thing to be into, especially that we have our own day, like Air Traffic Controllers Day,
Okay.
which is actually coming up on October 20th. So, you know, it's always nice to just share about air traffic control. Probably not the in-depth details to scare anybody, but
Right.
just
I
the
know
surface to, understand and appreciate
what you do.
what air traffic control is. So, yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna change gears on you a little bit because air traffic controller and self-published children book author, these are like
Yeah.
two like separate kind of field. So
Yeah.
tell me. I know that from what you just said that you loved the aviation industry and you always wanted to get into that space. But tell me, what was it like? What was that motivation or that impetus that led you to write and self-publish a children's book?
I believe it was COVID. It was COVID.
It was COVID.
Because we had a lot of downtime during the lockdown period.
Hmm.
And when I mean we, I don't mean we in Grenada alone, throughout
But
the world.
yeah,
So
I
social
know.
media was a thing. And I've been on Twitter for many years, but it's just that this one time during like 2020 peak COVID lockdown, like a lot more persons on there being expressive. I guess that's the way we dealt with the whole COVID situation.
Hmm.
And there was this one young lady, she's from somewhere in the United States. She was like, I've never seen a woman fly a plane. So I'm there like, we're in 2020. Your age says that you're around 24, 25, that region, and you
Hmm.
have not seen a woman fly a plane. But then I remember in the United States, they can drive or take the train
Right.
across the different states, or sometimes they don't even have a passport at all. So I let that slide. I was like, you know what? I made a joke and I said to a colleague of mine, I'm gonna write a book. She was like, yeah, you should go ahead. And all that motivation. She was like,
Uh-huh.
I'm a real hype girl. And then I said, you know what? I'll just dash that away. Let's forget about that. And then about a week after, um, a friend of mine from the Bahamas, she had just finished flight school and so on. And she was flying with a private company, I think it was in the Bahamas. And while she was getting on to one of her flights, some guys around, I think it was passengers or like engineers around that space, were like, why you gonna fly plane? Like, who man pay for you to fly? And
Ah.
all those things like led her to believe that as a woman she shouldn't fly. But that did not stop her because she's still flying, I believe. And all those things. I was like, oh no, something needs to be done. I have enough time on my hands. Although I was working 24/7 during the COVID period, I had
Right.
some time on my hands to sit and think about a storyline to get this book done. So it was essentially in a way to like encourage young girls
Mm-hmm.
and the boys, I would stress on that,
Mm-hmm.
encourage them, uh, educate them that yes, girls can do it too, and the boys need to appreciate the girls doing it as well. And just to inspire or just have a next book that a child likes to read, because there are children who read the book over 5 times already. That's the only book they would want to read.
Oh, nice.
For example, one of those Jamaican singers, it's Sean Paul. I hope I get that correct. Yes, Sean
Mm-hmm.
Paul. His daughter, she's probably about 3. No, she had the book and her mom was reading it to her on her Instagram story one night. So I saw it. Somebody sent it to me. Like, oh look, Jodie's reading the book for her daughter. I was like, oh cool. I
Impressive.
saw it, and then the next night I went on. The child just wanted the same book to be read to her.
Oh,
So
nice.
it was 2 nights in a row that she asked her mom to give her that book to read. So that just showed me that it's not only her, but a lot of other kids, they want the book to be read
So,
over and over.
tell me, what is it? What is the plot of the book?
So as I would always say, especially for persons viewing, you have to read the book to get the plot, but I'll just give you a breakdown.
Right.
Zola and Sage are like, 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds. I can't remember the age I gave them though. But they came home from school. They live near an airport, so they always hear the planes, they always see the planes. And they ask the question, they're like, after seeing all these planes, like, is there a woman flying this? Like, can a woman actually fly this? Just the typical questions that the inquisitive kids would ask. I mean, they probably were a bit too inquisitive, but they were not, because they learned along the way.
Right.
And it so happened that the uncle, well, yeah, the uncle and godfather in one, was able to take them on a tour of the airport where they saw different women doing jobs that they did not think that they'd be able to do. So they got that, they went on a trip, and they got the surprise, and all that, all the good stuff. That's what Zola and CTA were basically learning about the different careers in aviation. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
that women are able to do. Well, not really able, because women can do anything a man can
Correct.
do. A man can almost do anything a woman can do. I would say almost. I mean, actually, let me
Right.
change that. I wouldn't say almost. Before we could have said almost, but right about now, where the world is going, men can literally do anything a woman can do right now. So, yeah.
Right. So, and the name of the book. So,
Adventures of Zula and Sage, Women in Aviation.
right. And if somebody wants to buy the book, where can they find it?
Well, they can find it on Amazon. That's the easiest place for now, because getting copies into Grenada is a challenge.
Okay.
So Yeah, there are times that I will have copies on hand. You could shoot me a message on Adventures of Zola and Sage, the Facebook page or the Instagram page or my Facebook page, Kyana Bubb, and I will, get the message and organize to get some copies. So, um, but yeah, it's basically Amazon for now,
Amazon.
Amazon worldwide, because I've had sales in UK, Canada, US. Now, most of the US markets were from different Caribbean countries,
Hmm.
from Guyana to Belize, the Bahamas, you name it, and France as well.
Oh, nice.
And the one I did not expect was Australia. I
You
did not
know,
expect it. Yeah, I did not
global,
expect to
global.
hit Australia.
Nice.
Yeah, and a few celebrities, children with the book, as I just mentioned, Sean Paul and two others. I
No
don't
problem.
really make mention of, but
Nice. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, well, kudos to you. The book seems to be doing really well. It means then that I will have to get it for my two daughters then. So
Yeah,
that's
sure.
great. So let me ask you, was there any obstacles that you encountered along the way, whether in your career in the aviation industry or as a children book author, like any challenge that you encountered along the way that you had to overcome it, and if yes, then how did you overcome it?
In terms of air traffic control, um, I don't really think there were any challenges because it's something I like. The training
Hmm.
was hard. The training was actually harder than the actual job.
Oh, right.
And I I thought that I played around too much in the training, but when I just last night I saw my result sheets from the course and I was like, oh, you did not play around, girl. You did an excellent job. You know, a
Nice.
really excellent job. So, uh, just to toot my own horn. So, but I don't think in the training itself I had any obstacles. Probably, just persons in general, they're trying to bring me down. But
Hmm.
I guess I was just too much of a playful person that I thought
Right.
they were playing and I didn't take it serious.
Good.
But I guess I was away from family as well in a whole different country, Trinidad, as a young lady, away from family back home in Grenada. So
Right.
probably that alone was the challenge.
Okay.
But in that aspect, no. But on the job itself, no challenges, especially with coworkers and so on. No challenges. We are a family. We have to work as a family, especially in this field.
Hmm.
But COVID was a challenge because right after I checked out, like certified to work independently, COVID came, and then
Mm.
a lot of our traffic just went downhill.
That's true.
So between January and March, I was happy enough to get a lot of that, especially the evacuation process with the SGU students. I happened to work a lot of those shifts. So, we had that time, that period there, we had like a lot of flights, a lot of movements. So I got to work a lot of that. And then from that peak, it just went downhill like straight plunge right after with COVID. And it took, I guess, a year and a half to recover. Everything just got very calm, laid back, the usual separation. You don't have to do that anymore because it was just one aircraft, one aircraft, one aircraft. And now it's back up. In
Okay.
terms of the book, any obstacles with the book? Um, I did sit on it like for a few months, and I guess for me, I think getting the illustrations done is getting a book done is costly. That's why I
Mhm.
went the way of self-publishing because having to get a publisher now, that would be an added cost that I did not want to put myself in, and I just wanted to get my book out there. I just wanted
Okay.
to get it out, and I didn't want to wait on someone else.
Right.
So That was the obstacle, and I even had to like just go to Twitter and ask if anybody wanted to contribute to the book, like, just for me to pay for my illustrations and so on like that. Persons all over the UK, Africa, like, I don't know who you are, but this seems like a good idea. Here's some money for it. And
Oh,
there
very
was
nice.
an overwhelming support that all of that I raised just from a Twitter link. I got enough to do the illustrations and order my first few copies and some after that. So really and truly, I didn't really have to put much in of my own through that support. But
Excellent.
that generally was one of the obstacles. The next obstacle with the book right now, as I mentioned earlier, getting the copies to Grenada. But
Hmm.
it's a learning process, especially for if I have to do my next book. I know which way to go. I know how to do it. I know what to do it now, not what to do now. So yeah, I would really say there are obstacles like keeping me back, but it was just like lessons for me to learn
Right.
and to move forward with it. Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned those lessons. That you said there were lessons that you learned. So if I were to ask you, what are like three, let's say, key lessons that you learned along the way? True, just life lessons that you learned in your life. Not, it doesn't have to be, let's say, in the process of publishing your book or on the
hmm
job or whatever, but just any three life lessons that you learned that you can share with people who are watching this show. What would you say those are?
Well, I've always taught myself to be a patient person, but
Mm,
COVID tested that because I really wanted flights to start back, and I was like, can they start back today? Can they start back today? But I don't think I was that patient. Probably because of my love for aviation and planes. So that's why I probably wasn't that patient. But patience is one. Uh, you have to be determined to just get your things done or just roll with everything. Everything is going to fall in line. Everything, the timing is there. The timing is there. There's a time for everything. You know, we used to say, or we do say there's a time and place for everything. It doesn't necessarily mean your behavior in a certain setting. There's a time and place for everything. I interpret that as my time would come for me to get this done.
right.
I may not be in Grenada or I may not be in the right place financially or whatever it is, but that place, that position for me to get that done will also come within the time. So we have to, sit and interpret that as well into not as I said, not necessarily our actions in a certain place, but just open the box, make it broader for life. And the last lesson I learned, I think a lot of people would say that, but your environment, your village, your circle, your space, people around you, that can change a lot. It can bring you down, it can bring you up, sideways, all the way. Just have to be mindful. Don't play tricks. Be honest with the people around you. Just literally just be honest and, just look for the signs that, somebody might need help in your space. They may not need help in your space. They may be against you. They may be for you, or they pretend to be for you and they are actually against you. So those were like three of the main things I've learned in this whole, I would say, my entire aviation journey from being an air traffic controller, writing the book with the whole COVID situation. I learned all of that throughout that time.
And that's great, especially the last thing that you said, because the truth is, the people around you can either make you or they can break you, and that's like a constant theme that it's something that people I keep hearing a lot lately, more and more. So
Mm-hmm.
so I definitely echo that sentiment as well. So Kiana, thank you so much for
Yeah,
being here, and I
no
am going to put you
problem.
on the spot and ask you one more question and say
That's okay.
if you had an opportunity to speak with a young Kiana at age 10, What would you say to her? What would be, let's say, one nugget of wisdom that you will say to young Kyana at age 10?
I would say to young Kiana at age 10, keep doing what you're doing. Keep running outside from your bedroom to look at the planes flying over, to look at the jets flying over in the morning. Keep making noise with the plane so your mom can be like, "Can I stop making noise?" Keep doing it, because all of that is what got me here. I would say just keep at it. Although I may have, obstacles, just jump over it. Just keep doing that. Point on the planes. Keep screaming to my brother, "Beyond, come, look at the planes outside." Just keep doing that. 'Cause that's what 10-year-old Kiana did with her brother. Jumping outside, running from the bedroom to see planes flying over. We'd be in deep sleep, but somehow you'd hear the plane flying over on a morning.
Right away.
And you wake up to go outside to see it. So just keep doing that.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Kyana, for being here. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Dropping Bars. And tune in next week when I will have another special guest to drop some bars with us. So again, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And Kyana, thank you so much for being on the show today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.